Okay, here's another, I wanted to make this clear also. Here's another misunderstanding that people have. Some people think that the Israelites are primarily Israel in West Africa. And that's also a misconception. Okay, West Africa was accessible because of its geographical landmass next to water for the transatlantic slave trade. But if you look at East Africa is not too far. It's the bottom of Africa. East Africa is not too far from West Africa. Okay, and also North Africa. You have people where the Lord says, I disperse in Zephaniah, speaking of I disperse, who are in the land of Cush or Ethiopia. That's North Africa. There's Israelites who stayed and went back into North Africa of Egypt. There's Israelites that went to South Africa, the reverse of North Africa, next to the waters. Okay, so when you look at the Hamitic people, you really have a few families. You have the Ethiopians who are Hamitic. You have the Egyptians who are Hamitic. You have the, well, I said Ethiopians. I said the Egyptians. You also have the Canaanites who were living in Israel who end up linking with the Nephilim seed. And last but not least, one more, you have Puat. You have Foot, which is really, believe it or not, Foot is primarily the Libyans. Africans who living in Libyans. And these were primarily, Africans lived in North Africa. That's where they were. They weren't in South Africa and different areas of that. They were primarily in North Africa. Okay? Even Israel is almost north of Africa when you look at its geographical connection. It's north of, it's right there next to Africa or outside of Egypt, which is North Africa. All right? So when the Most High told Israel to flee into the wilderness, we started fleeing into the areas where the North Africans were not. Yeah, we left ourselves in different areas in North Africa, but we spread throughout all of Africa. And when you see these genocidal vaccination programs and eugenics programs that are aimed towards the Congo and that are aimed towards these different places in Africa to destroy these people, you know beyond any shadow of a doubt, wherever the eugenics program is being pushed against the children of Israel. All right? All these people that are being destroyed in Africa are Israelites. Revelation, the 12th chapter, tell you we ran into the wilderness from the face of the serpent for a time, and a dividing of times. And when the serpent found out, the serpent being Rome, when they found out that we were in different parts of Africa, which were once uninhabitable, once was not inhabited, when they found out we were there, they started a program that would eventually destroy God's people in Africa. We're at the end of that destruction now. And Christ will save us through this. All right? So the Ghanaians, all these people are the children of Israel. Nigerians, the people in South Africa, the majority of people in Africa are the children of Israel. All right? So I wanted to make that clear. And that's why the Western world is doing everything they can in an effort to stop these people from building their society from the inside. They're doing everything they can to stop the ingenuity of Africa and are promoting genocide and civil wars. Even when our people have peace in a particular area in Africa, you would have the Western world, which is Britain, NATO, and America. They would empower or pay other Africans from different areas outside of that area and give them guns and have them start killing people in a particular area. And then they will promote it to the earth around the world as if it's a civil war, when these Africans that they are actually training did not even come from that area. This is what they do to continue their destruction on God's people. And then they, on the other side, they'll promote UNICEF and these different programs as if they are really trying to help the people, when really, when you send money to these aid programs to aid these people, that money is going towards more vaccinations that are killing the children of Israel in Africa. They got one disease now called a nodding disease, where children are just sitting around nodding. It's not happening to no adult. These children cannot even think. They sit around all day and they slobber and they spit on themselves and they nod and can't even help themselves. And no one over there is related to the vaccinations. It's not happening to any of the adults. This is the genocidal destruction aimed toward the children of Israel. And that's the majority of all of Africa. Okay? Gaddafi felt for the children of Israel. He understands who we are. Gaddafi was trying to build an Africa without European influence. It was called AFRICOM that was presented to Gaddafi, and Gaddafi decided that he didn't want to become part of the European AFRICOM that would take the resources and kill the people. So now they're destroying him and killing him and taking his gold and his resources and destroying his infrastructure, because they know that his infrastructure would be the actual prototype that would empower the rest of Africa. Okay? So they're going to move Gaddafi. Gaddafi is going to be taken. Alright? And eventually they will control Libya. The other thing I wanted to bring out. One other thing I want to bring out, and I hope this what I'm about to bring forth quells some of the conversation when it comes to fleeing and whether or not we should flee and all those things and what should I do. Listen clearly. First of all, the Most High did not give us the spirit of fear. So anyone operating in the spirit of fear, it doesn't matter where you are. You have to be led by the Holy Spirit to do the work of the Most High. Alright, so the Most High didn't give us the spirit of fear, but of might. That's number one. Number two, you must have an agenda beyond just fleeing. That means do the work of the Most High where you are, and let Him open up a place for you in His work. He will guide you. He will guide the elect to the elect. So the only thing you can focus on, if you don't have the means right now to make things happen or what you think should happen, you have power in your environment. Make a change where you are and let the Most High open the gates and open the doors for you to make moves. He will gather us together. Alright? There's much work to do. So instead of you sitting around scared and waiting to die, do work where you are and let the Most High put the Spirit on others to help you come together and get out of the areas you would like to get out of. Alright? So that's the whole, I wanted to put that out there. You have people, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen. Listen, you know what's going to happen. The only thing you can do is prepare where you are and let the Holy Spirit guide you. Okay? We didn't put this information out so people can just panic and go off and lose their minds. The information was put out so that first you would come together and get right with your God, regardless of your geographical location, and be prepared to move when it's time. To be aware of your surroundings and prophecy, and to make moves according to the will of the Most High, not according to what someone is going to do to you. Because if you're with the Most High, no one can do anything to you. And I want you brothers and sisters to understand this. You don't have no reason to fear. You are those who are awakened. I mean, you can watch what the elites are doing and knowing what they're doing. If they're sticking around for a little bit, you say, okay, there's still some elites still hanging around here. So I know that if they're here, I can stick here for a minute. But as soon as they start moving out, I'm moving out. So you can watch what others are doing because your eyes are open. Now, you don't have the access the elites have to be able to get on a plane in the last minute. but at least you have the mindset to know what time you're in, and you know what to watch for. Thank the Most High for that alone. You understand? So there is little things you can look at as indicators, instead of just panicking and making moves in haste and not understanding what time we're in. We, on the other hand, and I'm sure some of you have that too, we're trying to spread the understanding of the gospel and the truth wherever we are. Okay? We got brothers that are now inviting us to go to Jamaica. We have to, maybe the Most High is calling us to Jamaica for a minute to let them know that they got to start making their way over the waters. So we're just trying to go to each place. We're not just trying to go someplace and just wait for Christ to return. But we do need a base that we can operate together in. And that's why we set up the Hebrew Academy. And that's why we set up the advanced classes, so we can funnel people who want the same things with the same ideas together, without the element of those that would come inside just to destroy. We want an environment in which we can all have a controlled environment and trust amongst us to make that last move. And we couldn't do that on a broad scale just in class. We have to develop relationships with brothers and sisters. And that's the importance of this academy. And that's the importance of the advanced classes. It allows us to operate outside of this union we have here, which is everyone or anyone. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there. And I'll tell you this, there's a lot of information that we've put out there already. Go over some of those older lessons that we've taught. You understand? Go over those lessons, regurgitate them, write them down, make yourself a precept booklet. That's why the brother Santi is uploading all the videos on the account now. Who knows? They may suspend the account any day. Who knows? So you take all that information, make yourself videos, make yourself precept tapes, because there's a lot of jewels that have been dropped that the Holy Spirit gave us at certain times that you can use for the future. You understand? Get everything you can now and go over those lessons, fast and pray and get with the Most High and get ready. Okay? Well, I'm not going to flee when the Pope sits in Israel, because I know beyond any shadow of a doubt that that's a farce. That's a farce. I can even show you the dates and times when the Catholic Church came up with that and started spreading that through theology to confuse the people, so that people can look at religion or the Pope opposed to the political system. We can tell you exactly who did that, when he did it, and when the Jesuits actually put that into play in theology. All right? So that was a Jesuit total, it was a total operation they used, and they injected it into doctrine so that you could focus on the Pope opposed to the politics of the earth. All right? There's no such thing as the Pope sitting on the throne in Jerusalem. That's a bunch of garbage. The Jesuits came up with that. That's a total diversion. We understand that they've been sitting in the temple since 1948. You waiting for the Pope when Pope's people are already there. They've been sitting in the temple. They just put a Supreme Court with an obelisk and an all-seeing eye in the Supreme Court over there in Israel. So that happened in 1948. That been happened. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we're waiting to happen have already happened. Another thing is, don't look for your society to change much before the total destruction. Christ says in Matthew the 24th chapter, as in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be, where you'll be marrying and given into marriage. Understand, the infrastructure has been built all over the earth in which you can do everything on a regular basis and not much change because of your infrastructure. So it's going to appear that everything is okay when the destruction hits. Understand that. That's why the Lord says, watch as well as pray. That's why Yeshua said that. All right, so don't sit back and think that because, you're looking at some big camps, which I know the concentration camps are coming. But you have to look at the fact that a lot of Americans are criminals already and are locked up already and already in a system of total deprivation and being destroyed by their government. No one imprisoned more people than America. So a lot of people are already in the prison system. Your children are in the prison system. You notice that all the schools have uniforms where they all have to dress alike and go through they have to put their bags through a security system and all that. They're already in jail. The infrastructure have already been put there. But of course there will be a bigger hammer coming down. But they've already conditioned us for what's about to come. All right? And if you go to schools in North Philly, in Philadelphia, man, it's like you going into jail. You go there to check out and see what's going on with your children. You have to take your belt off and go. You have to do all types of stuff just to go into school and talk to a teacher. So they've already put the infrastructure in place. They're making it where it don't take much for you to become a criminal. You are a criminal through child support. You are a criminal through your tickets when they writing tickets, and that's all. Your cops are being paid. They just write tickets to make you a criminal. Okay. You have the police drawing their guns first before they ask questions. You already in a state of martial law, to tell you the truth. Okay, you can't drive without wondering whether or not the cops are going to pull you over, even if you are legal. Okay, you have all these fines and taxes on you you can't even afford to pay. So the infrastructure is already in place. Okay. It's already in place. So it's only a few things they have to do before they bring it all together. And our people will naturally just flow into it because we've been conditioned not to understand that we're in a state of martial law. We've been conditioned already. All right. So I want to bring this out. Let's get the Apocrypha real quick. I want to go into that 10%. You got some of that written down on that 10%? The 10% that will make it.
Not really. You just need all of
I want the one in the Apocrypha. And give me the one in Amos. And then the one in Isaiah. One moment.
Which one do you need first?
I want the one in Isaiah first.
Isaiah 6 and 9.
All right, let's go there. Let's go there. Where my Apocrypha at? Is it over there? I bought an Apocrypha. Okay, you got it? Okay, good. That's good. Let's do it. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9.
Isaiah 6 and 9. Go ahead.
And he said, Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts.
So there's some people who the Most High have where they wasn't meant. They were not born to understand. So the Most High so those that don't want to deal with the truth of the Most High, he says, listen, close their eyes. Make it so they can't hear. Why? Because these people don't want to hear anyway. Okay, they just want to go with their life and think that everything is relative. And that, life will go on and nothing is really happening. So the Most High says, listen, let them stay in their ignorance. And that's another thing. We have to stop fighting against people who don't want to see. We have to leave them alone. Christ says you cannot cast your pearls before swine lest they rend you underfoot. Which means you start trying to give this to people who don't want it, they will attack and destroy you. They will wait for your demise. Leave them alone. Let the Most High work with them. Read.
Isaiah chapter 6, verse 10. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed.
Go ahead.
Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant.
He says, until the cities be wasted without inhabitants. Now you have to realize, now think about this real quick. The cities he's talking about right now is the fall of Jerusalem. He telling Ezra, listen, something is going to happen here. The cities are going to be destroyed. But what you have to realize also on another level, there's nothing new under the sun. That this will eventually happen to all places Israel inhabits. So if you want to know what's going to happen to the earth, look at what happened to Israel in 70 AD. Read.
Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitants.
Until the cities be wasted without inhabitants. Read.
And the houses without man.
And the houses without man. Read.
And the land be utterly desolate.
And the land be utterly desolate. He's talking about the destruction of Israel, which happened in 70 AD. That was the beginning of the end, if you understand. The time started ticking from that point, in which it's a race now on Satan and the serpent's people to destroy these people before the Most High raised them. After 70 AD, that's when the clock started ticking on this. We have a race to be saved, and they have a race to destroy us. That's the race. And we're battling all the way until Christ come and revive and take us and change us. Read.
Verse 12. And the Most High removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land.
There shall be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. Right now the land is crying out for her children. Read.
Verse 13. But yet, in it shall be a tenth.
In it shall be a what?
In it shall be a tenth.
In it shall be a tenth. Now that's a future prophecy to let you know a tenth will make it. 10%. So the rest are going to have ears that cannot hear, eyes that cannot see. See, but this 10% are going to be aware of what's going on. And I'm going to tell you, this 10% would be called crazy in our time. They would be out of their minds. But it's something when you can see what no one else can't see. When you can see certain things, they automatically push that off as crazy. Could you imagine if Christ was operating in the earth and you had a camera on when Satan was tempting him and doing things to him, and he was talking to Satan? Can you imagine if you just had a camera on Christ during that time? Don't you think the world would think he was crazy? When the Most High woke up and gave Daniel all these visions, if Daniel would have told everyone what he was seeing, don't you think that he would live in the day they would throw him in a crazy house? Those who can see are not of this world. They are looked at as if something is wrong with them, when really the majority of people out there are the people that are out of their minds. Those who can see are those that are sane. So you're looking at a world that's totally out of their minds against the 10% who can actually see. So this is what you're working with here, brothers and sisters. So if you're that small minority and you're running around saying things you're not ought to say, they're going to end up throwing somebody up in a crazy house. They're going to end up throwing you away or they're going to come against you, I'm telling you. You have to watch what you say around people, because you are the minority who can see. The family looking at you like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's interesting. As soon as you leave out, they calling on the phone saying, listen, we have to get this brother or this sister committed. We have to find a time in which we can commit them and get them on medication. This is what goes on. Or they'll look at you and say, well, I don't know where I went wrong with you. Like, what did we do to you? As if something is wrong when you can see. Read.
Verse 13. But yet in it shall be a tenth.
But in it shall be a what?
In it shall be a tenth.
There'll be a tenth. Go ahead.
And it shall return.
And it shall do what?
And it shall return.
That proved to you that after the land is desolate, 10% will return back to the land. 10% will return back to Israel. I know a lot of Israelites out there talking about the 2/3 and 2/3. I know where they get that from. Zechariah 13:8. That 2/3 is only the final judgment in the wilderness. That's what that 2/3 is. So you're going to have people make it to the wilderness, and 2/3 in that wilderness shall be destroyed. But when you look at the numbers on a mass scale, on the population, only 10% of Israel is going to walk into Israel. So you can understand. So I know exactly what they're talking about when they talk about the 2/3. The 2/3 is not the world. The 2/3 are the destruction of the rebels in the wilderness. All right. Read on. I need you to go to the Apocrypha real quick.
Second Ezra, chapter 16, verse 23.
Go ahead.
And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be waste, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the field and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all the places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another, and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be there shall be 10 left.
See that? Of a city there shall be 10 left. Read.
And 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the cleft of the rocks, as in the orchard of olives. Upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them which search their houses with the sword, and the earth shall be laid waste.
That search their house by the what?
That search their houses with the sword.
Chapter and verse.
Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 31.
Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 31. Now you notice it says there will be a house search with the sword. We're reading martial law here, brothers and sisters, where people will be going house to house searching with a weapon. Modern day swords are guns. So it's saying that they're going to be coming house to house searching for your weapons. Now this was written thousands of years before there was any such thing as a U.S. Army or a NATO army. This is in the Bible. Read.
And the earth shall be laid waste, and the field thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel therethrough.
Go ahead.
The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The woman shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. And the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine.
So the wars are going to kill the majority of the Israelite men. The wars are going to kill a lot of our people all over the earth. You notice that no sooner as we join the army, we're shipped off to a foreign land to fight a war. Okay? This is what the Bible is talking about. There will be a lack of men in the earth. Read.
Verse 35. Hear now these things, and understand them.
Hear now and understand them. This is the prophet Ezra. Go ahead.
Ye servants of the Most High, behold the word of the Most High, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Most High spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh.
So now the Most High is telling us what we must do. First of all, don't believe none of these gods out here outside of the God of Israel. That's the key, because once this happens, it's the Holy Spirit that will guide us through this. If we're connected to another God, we will be deceived. So the first thing is to link into the God who said these things would happen. That's number one. Read.
Verse 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh.
The plagues draw nigh. It's talking about the plagues or the destruction of this earth. Read.
And are not slack.
They are not slack.
As when a woman bring as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son. Within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment.
So the Jacob's trouble is just like this. The closer we get to being born as a nation, the more contractions, the more pain we will feel until we're actually delivered. Read.
Verse 39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come
Let's
upon
get
the
the
earth.
chord for this.
And the world shall mourn. Verse 39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth.
Go ahead.
And the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word.
O my people, hear my word. He's speaking to the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Make you ready to the battle.
Make you ready to the battle. Now notice it didn't say 144,000. It says my people. Get ready for the battle, because this battle is going to be this is going to be a fierce battle here. Read.
And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth.
And when those evils happen, we must become pilgrims. Be ready. That worked yesterday, right?
You can try it now.
Let me see.
It's been working pretty good lately.
Okay, there's. Thank you. Excuse me, one moment. This on this side? Yeah, yours. I like that. It says, be ye like pilgrims. That means be prepared to deal with what you have on your back. To make it over some mountains, or make it into, get out of your comfortable way of living. You have to realize these cities that they set up, they strategically set up these cities so that at any time they can control the masses of people. That's when they constructed the cities, they constructed it under the idea that one day that they would enslave an area. You notice a lot of these gated communities, they promote as high financial communities because it's gated off. But really, you just purchased yourself a jail. You think you done moved up in the world because you got a gated off community against all the drugs and all that out there. But when martial law hits, there's no place you can go. You are gated in. See, they set these things up for us, and they sold us this understanding through psychology and media. We're living in our own jails and don't even understand it. You think that, okay, what about me being moved to a concentration camp? But think about this. What if where you're living at is already a concentration camp? You have to look at, there's no new thing under the sun. When the Japanese were taken during the time of World War II, okay, and during the time of the early 1900s, when the Japanese were taken, it was houses lined up similar to like a lot of your neighborhoods are lined up where they were taken. They had nice houses, beds, and all that, but it was gated around. So a lot of your communities, like your projects, which they have a guard downstairs already, your communities are already just ready to be gated off. The only thing they have to do now is not allow food and water to get into where you are. So a lot of us are waiting to be taken into concentration camps, and we're living in concentration camps. So we must be like pilgrims in that day. Be prepared. Look at your surroundings. Start looking into things you wouldn't normally look into. If you're going to stick around, look into getting around in different areas. I'm gonna tell you. Sometimes you have to know what's underground, how to escape underground. How to move a manhole out of the way and walk around there for a minute, and all those things. You may have to escape where you are. That's the truth. So you must be aware and become like pilgrims. Be ready to make some moves you would not normally make. The majority of people are just going to go like sheep. Read.
Verse 41. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away.
He that selleth, let him be like those that fleeth away. What that means is you must be prepared and not make, you can't make plans based on your personal substance. When I say you can't make plans on your personal substance, you can't say, well, I worked all my life for this, and use that as an excuse not to walk away from it. Anything that you have in this earth, you can buy anywhere. You cannot attach yourself to anything physical in this earth. Anything that you have, the Most High can give it to you any place. Be prepared to walk away from your nice car because it's not yours anyway. If you believe it's yours, stop paying the card note. Your nice house because it's not yours anyway. If you believe it's yours, stop paying the rent. Stop paying the mortgage. Okay? Common sense is nothing belongs to you if you're still paying for it. You own what you paid for, and now no one can take it. That's the power of purchasing. So you don't own anything. You don't own it. And stop thinking like that. If you start thinking like, I done worked, listen, you done worked all your life to be a slave. That's what you work for. You are a slave, and you got temporary housing as long as you're willing to slave for the system that have destroyed you. That's just what it is. You're a slave. So listen, and I put this out there all the time for brothers and sisters. If you go back to the 1700s and the 1800s, and you go on a plantation and you ask one of those slaves and say, listen, here's an opportunity for you to leave this country and leave away from those who've enslaved you and destroyed you and separated your families and did all types of things to you. They would have took that with a lot of them would have took that offer with no problem at all. A lot of them say, listen, I'm out of here first day. But our mentality has changed. Read.
And he that buyeth as one that will lose.
Read it again.
And he that buyeth as one that will lose.
And he that buyeth, understand that you're going to lose everything you purchased. There's an old saying, you brought nothing into this world, neither shall you take anything out. That car you driving, someone else is going to drive that car. Okay? That the house you living in, someone else slept in it usually before you. That's the mindset we must have in this time. Read.
Verse 42. He that occupieth merchandise, as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein.
He that buildeth, be as though they that will not dwell in the house. You have some people, man, I done put in a new cabinet, I put in a new bar, man, look at my fireplace. Understand someone else is going to be heated by that fireplace. Understand someone else is going to cook on that nice stove you put together. Understand someone else is going to sit in your living room and live in your house. Understand that. Because the banks own everything. The banks own your house. The bank own your cars. The banks own you. And they use this mirage as a dream that they push through TV to keep you still. Because you made this home, you don't desire your home. That was their plan the whole time. It's like, listen, the only way we're going to keep these slaves if we make them comfortable in their slave environment. And make them think that they're free. That's the whole point. Now that our people are breaking free, they're waking up. They're starting to broaden their minds, starting to broaden themselves beyond their conditioning. Now they're putting all types of grids in place to show you just how much of a slave you are. They're making it so you can't go through an airport without feeling like a criminal. They're making it you can't even drive a car without feeling like you're a criminal. You can't walk around normally. You can't go and travel to another country or anything unless you're treated like a terrorist. Think about it. Because they know now we are awakening. They have to tighten the grip on us now. Read.
Verse 43. He that soweth as if he should not reap.
And the brother Ramon made a good statement when he talks about the drones. What do you think the drones are for? They're running drones all through different states in the United States. They've been running it for a long time. All through they're testing this grid that will chase and destroy God's people and those who can see. And everyone, man, I got the new iPhone. Check out my iPhone. It's hot. You got your own tracking device and you're using your fingers on it. Why do you think they got your fingers on it? They're getting your fingerprints every time you touch those iPhones. It's all biometrics. And they know where you at. One thing about these iPhones, they are so exact that they can pinpoint your proximity on the dot anywhere in the earth. You done paid a high price tracking system that will be used to track you. That's what's going on here. Why are these grids in place? They know that God's people are going to start making their way back and leaving their captivity. Also, by leaving your captivity, you're not a beneficial to the slave system that have you, because they need to benefit from your work and labor. This is how they use you. You are a stock, a human commodity. When you go to get a job, they take you to human resources. You are a commodity in which if you work, you are making money for the system that have enslaved you. That's the whole point. They need you to work. If they can't get you on the outside, they'll put you in jail on the inside and make you work for free, because you are a tradable commodity on the stock exchange. That's what you are. Think about it. This is what we are. You start breaking free from this and you crumble the system. The system was built off of the slavery of the children of Israel. When you decide not to work in that system, when you decide to start pulling yourself out and work for the Most High, the system crumbles. So they have to put a grid in place that make you work. Martial law. Read.
Verse 43. He that soweth as if he should not reap.
He that soweth have to be as though that they have not reaped. You have some people who have worked all their life. Sowing means to row. It means to work. When you sow the seed, you have to work to sow the seed to reap it during harvest time. So sow means to work. You have so many people who have worked all their time and say, man, I can't go nowhere, man. I'm not going to lose my pension. You done lost your pension already. Your pension has been sold with the so-called bailouts, which is robbery in itself. You don't owe nobody any money, but they're going to take your money that you worked all your life for, because this debt they created. Okay, so now they got people saying, man, listen, I'm not going to lose my SSI. I'm not going to lose my pension. This is the mindset we have. When, let me tell you, we came to America with nothing. And look how far the Most High have taken us. So you think the Most High is going to let us go now? You think he's going to not deliver us now? We must be ready to walk away from everything that attaches us to this world. Read.
So also, he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not gather the grapes.
Understand that those that are planting the vineyard, you're not going to receive the grapes coming out of the vineyard. The system is not set up for you to benefit. Read.
Verse 44. They that marry, as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not, as the widowers. And therefore they that labor, labor in vain.
So that means the work, all the work you're doing, all that trying to make the life that you see on TV, it's for nothing. It's for nothing. Because the life, when you turn off the TV, the life that really exists is so far from what they promote through the television. The reality in life is entirely different than the programming you see. Okay? The TV is just to make you think that things going to go on the same forever. The TV is to make you think that there's a life you can obtain. Okay? But none of that's real. Once they say cut, these people go back to reality on TV. And they live their same miserable lives under the illuminous powers. Okay? TV is not real. It's a dream they're selling you to make you think that you could become something in a system that was built to destroy you. That's all it is. Read.
Verse 46. For strangers shall reap their fruits.
Read.
And spoil their goods.
Yeah, dream. Dream is also on the same veins as hope. Listen, I don't want to hope. I'm tired of hoping. I don't want hope. Let me get the end of what hope is. Let me get the end of what a dream is. You can't get that in this system. The only thing you can get in this system is hope. Why? Because your certain status make you hope for more. Your certain status have you dreaming for more. And it's never fulfilled. The only thing that can fulfill us as a people is a kingdom. That's it. What the Most High promised to Abraham is the only fulfillment we can look forward to. And there's no fulfillment in this system. And we need to come to that reality. Read.
For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods.
Go ahead.
Overthrow their houses.
Overthrow their houses and do what?
And take their children captives. For in captivity and famine shall they get children. And they that...
In what? In what?
For in captivity and famine shall they get children.
Captivity and famine shall they get children. Here is the prophecy concerning the children of Israel. Now, if you don't think you're in a famine, because don't forget, back in the day, you used to have your own chickens, your own food, you can do what you want to do. Now, you must go down to some type of government institution and say, I need food stamps. Give me food I need some stamps. What you think that is? That's a famine. America, which is supposed to be the richest enterprise, the greatest country on earth, have more people dependent on food stamps and public assistance than any other. Does that sound backwards to you? The richest country, so-called richest country in the earth, and the majority of people are on assistance? It's a slave, a total slave captive. A slave and captive society. Okay, there's no jobs. Okay, well, we don't care. We're still going to take the guys for child support. Okay, that's fine. We just need them slaving. We know there's no job, but we're going to still say that they're required to pay this amount of money so that we can put them in jail and have them enslave us for free and still don't give the child anything. That works out fine. And then we're going to put the child in the system and a woman in the system so that we know that now they're looking for substance and she don't have no substance. So we're going to put her in the system knowing that she's going to go down and we can take the child. It's a win-win situation for us, so come to court. This is how we were born to be slave, brothers and sisters. We were born to be enslaved. Read.
Verse 47. And they that occupy their merchandise with robbery.
And these are the same people that are over our system. They got everything they received through robbery. What makes you think that your best interest is at heart? See, this is what the scriptures are giving you common sense here. What make you think that this system can fulfill your dreams when they have taken everything they have received was through robbery and deceit? Think about it, brothers and sisters. Read.
And they that occupy their merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions.
The more they do what?
The more they deck their cities.
The more you start decking your cities.
Their houses.
And you start decking your houses if you're going to be there forever. And what?
Their possessions.
And the things you have, you out there shining your car, taking a picture in front of your car, and the repo man is around the corner. This is what's going on here. The more you do these things. Read.
And their own persons.
And their own persons. Man, I'm looking dapper. Man, look at this. I'm sharp. Here it is, just to go into a club and lean next to a bar and just to do nothing. Just looking simple as you can be. This is what we do. We get dressed just to go somewhere and just look just like this. I mean, what is the point? I'm sharp tonight. Got your shoes laid out. You got everything laid out as if it's a person on the bed with the shoes on the floor looking at it. I'm gonna hurt him tonight, boy. I'm gonna hurt him. And you put on these monkey suits. This is what we do. We put on these monkey suits and we go out someplace and and they look at us like, man, what are you doing? Don't you know we're about to enslave you all? Don't you know you are slaves? This is what we do. sitting around looking at people up in the club somewhere. I'm like, yeah, you know, let me buy her a drink. And it's a never-ending cycle. People, I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. Then you on the floor dance with somebody else's woman. She's all got her hands on the floor someplace, and it's all types of madness. Yet they are trying to destroy us. We're decking ourselves. You have a woman, she'll be inside the beauty salon for 12 hours for one night. This is what goes on. 12 hours just for 3 hours of trying to look like a certain person that she's seen on TV in a club. This is what we do. Have two people up in your head. 12, 13 hours. You nodding, sleeping and everything. Two people up in your head. This is what we do. We're decking ourselves, doing all these things, not knowing that something is about to happen. When we should be decking ourselves according to the scriptures. We should be decking ourselves and trying to figure out, okay, how will we survive this spiritually? Think about that. But yet all these people that be out in the club, that are doing all these things, they're the people looking at you saying, something is wrong with you. Because you have separated yourself from this simple life. They'll look at you as if something ain't right about you. Why you don't put on monkey suits? Why you don't stand next to a bar out of your mind, just looking at people walk by and just go right back home and get on the computer, then come back to the club next week? Something is wrong with you. Okay? See, it's a parallel life. And while the other nations are sitting there nation building, taking down, doing all types of things, building their infrastructure, keeping you enslaved. They're thinking about the future while you're thinking about what? This is what it is. And then when they start rounding us up, we're going to be like, oh Jesus, oh God, how could you have done this to me, God? Oh Lord. This is how we go. This is us. Oh Jesus. Read it.
Verse 48. The more will I be angry with them for their sin.
Read that again.
The more will I be angry with them for their sin.
The more we deck ourselves, the more the Most High is going to be angry with us. The more He will be upset with us. The more. Because it's like we don't understand what time we're in. Brothers, someone made a statement and I have to say it again. We are at war. This is war. And the war is on every level. The war is we can't even eat food without getting poisoned. We can't even drink water without being poisoned. We're being spiritually destroyed, physically destroyed. And yet we're walking in life as if we're not in a war. Think about this. And the Most High is trying to show us, listen, I woke you up so that you could become a part of my army to fight in this war. And some people ask me, well, how would I fight? How will you be able to fight when Christ returns if you are not in a position to fight now? The spirit that's in you to fight is the same spirit that's going to fight in that time. What you're doing now. So yeah, you have to work to make your election sure. You have to be willing to get on the battlefield and fight so that you'll be in the mindset to do it when Christ returns. Read.
Verse 49. Like as a whore envieth a right honest and virtuous woman, so shall the righteousness hate iniquity. When she decketh herself, and shall accuse her to her face, when he cometh that shall defend him that diligently searcheth out every sin upon earth. And therefore be ye not like thereunto, nor to the works thereof. For yet a little, and iniquity shall be taken away out of the earth.
So we have to wait a little time, and eventually the sin will subside. But we have to fight through this. We have to fight through this. Read.
And righteousness shall reign among you. Let not the sinner say that he hath not sinned, for the Most High shall burn coals of fire upon his head.
That's another thing. None of us can say that we have not sinned. So none of us can get high-minded to the point where we think that we're better than someone else. Because I talk about it, but listen, we've all done things and are doing things that we must get right before Christ returns. And see, and that brings everyone down to a base level. Righteousness is going to be totally put away when Christ returns, but we have to do the best we can to correct ourselves while there's time. That's another attribute of being able to fight in this war. I need you to go to where it says, some shall desire to go into a city and will not be able to.
2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 17.
2nd Ezra 15 and 17. Read it.
A man shall desire to go into a city.
Go to a verse before that.
Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men.
There shall be sedition amongst men. Read.
And invading one another.
They shall be invading one another. That's what we're coming into. So all these people that have their comfortable house and all that, you don't think someone is looking at the things you have? And when it comes time, they're going to come into your house to take it. See, we think we're flossing to show that we're doing good in life. But really what we're doing, we're showing those that are without exactly where to go when it's time. So our people, we have $30 and we'll spend 25 of it on how to look good. This is how we operate. We have to look like we have money. This is us. We can be flat broke. You can have a guy that can't rub two nickels together with a $200 and $300 suit on. No money in the pocket. But this is how we operate. And so the Lord says, we deck ourselves. Listen, whatever you have and people are seeing you get it, they'll be the first to come get it. And I need y'all to check out how some of these other nations operate. You will see a guy with all this money and he'll have on a 50-cent pair of shoes he got from Goodwill. He'll drive a little bent up car. He would wear the cheapest clothes. You would never think he have anything. Okay? And he'll be on a train and you'll look at him like he looked like a bum. He'll get off the train, get back into his BMW that he parked, and go into his big house someplace. And you will never know that he have what he have. And he have a lot of guns in case someone want to try to take what he have. We don't think like that. We don't think like that. Okay? You can have somebody with $300 and take $150 of it to get their hair done and to get their nails done. This is what we do. Read.
For there shall be sedition among men.
There shall be sedition amongst men. Read.
And invading one another.
And invading one another. Read.
They shall not regard their kings nor princes.
They shall not regard their kings or princes. Now I'm going to show you, and I'm going to bring this back around, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to bring this back into layman's terms so we can understand it on the lowest level. Somebody made a good statement about Nikes and Jordans, how they only cost $11 to make in China. And they'll sell them back to you for $200, $150, and pay someone to advertise a sneaker that's only worth $8 to make or $11 to make in China. And here it is. The people that are promoting this, like Jordan and these other guys, are multi-millionaires. But they didn't think that, okay, we're the people the LeBron James, the Dwayne Wades, all these famous, these guys can be entrepreneurs, can come together and say, you know what? Let's make our own league and build our own basketball court, and let's go to China and strike a deal and make our own sneakers. Slaves don't think like that. You have a lockout within the NFL where the slave masters who own the slaves, which are the drafted players that sit on auction blocks, they're not going to play because they can't come in agreement with the slave master. If you're the people playing on the field and you already are millionaires, why don't you have enough sense to put your money together, build your own fields, and play football? How can they stop you from doing that? That shows you the mentality, even if you have money, how you're operating in a slave mentality. All the money you have, and you didn't think, let me come together, let's kick these guys out of here. We don't need these guys. They don't play. This is the mindset that goes on with the children of Israel. You don't even think that you already have the power. A lot of people say, well, Christ, when is the kingdom coming? Christ looked at them and said, listen, man, you're looking for a kingdom to come out of heaven. Don't you know the kingdom is within you? You already have everything to build a kingdom. Why don't you build it for yourself? Why are you waiting for somebody else to bring you a kingdom? And see, and that's the mindset. These guys are not dumb either. They're intelligent people. These are college graduates. These guys are not dumb that are in the arena. Okay? They're just dependent. And they don't know the power they have within themselves. Listen, I would have in a minute say, listen, y'all go, owners, y'all go ahead. I can cut my, listen, you cannot do anything without players. I don't care how great arena or skyboxes you have. If you don't have players, you don't have a team. Period. We take our own money. We don't got to wait for a contract with y'all. Y'all broke. Y'all reneged on y'all contract. We out of here. Let's come together. Let's put our money together. And let's play and make this a worldwide sport in which we own. Slaves don't think like that. Read on.
And the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
The course of their actions shall stand in their power. Read.
A man shall desire to go into a city.
A man shall desire to go into a city and what?
And shall not be able.
And what?
And shall not be able.
And shall not be able. We're in that time, brothers and sisters. I know y'all think those tolls are there. Those bridges are there just to build the infrastructure and keep the roads nice and in good condition when you cross over. And you look at some of these roads, man, they might as well blow the bridge up. They're not putting money towards those roads. They're putting those tolls there in place so that you will not be able to travel city to city when martial law, when this thing is instituted. If you don't have a chip, if you don't have some level of identification that's instituted at that time, you will not be able to travel into another city. The Bible speak of this thousands of years before the technology was ever put in place. The Bible is real, brothers and sisters. You will not be able to go into another city unless you have this new identification that we're bringing forth, that they're bringing forth. Excuse me. Read.
Verse 18. For because of their pride.
Because of their what?
For because of their pride.
Because of their pride. And you know there's no more proud people than the children of Israel. There's no more proud people than America itself, so to speak. Read.
For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled.
The cities shall be troubled. Read.
The houses shall be destroyed.
The houses shall be destroyed.
And men shall be afraid.
And men shall be afraid. Now I can understand how this is on a whole nother level, because back when Ezra was seeing this, men had a different demeanor about them. But in our system, women are the men. A lot of men are running around homos. Run around with pink shirts on and tight little shirts and tight pants on. And they're going to be running like little girls, screaming like little women when this thing hit. Read.
Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor.
This is where we're coming at. Where man shall have no pity on his neighbor. And we're living in that time now. You have a gang member that'll come and just kill you and just go eat lunch. This is what we're dealing with here. People that don't have pity on each other anymore. Read.
But shall destroy their houses with the sword.
They shall destroy their houses with the sword. And notice that Barack Obama right now is now putting legislation in place. The legislation he's putting in place now is to stop people from actually purchasing guns and putting people on a no gun buy list. So first it was a no fly list. Now it's a no gun list. Now they're doing this by total trickery. The ATF is shipping guns over to Mexico, and they're tracing the guns that they're shipping to Mexico to put a ban on the gun owners in America, claiming that people are purchasing straw purchases and giving the guns to Mexicans when it's the government. To stop you from actually getting a gun to protect yourself, knowing that they must disarm you before they come to your house with the guns. This is what's this is what's going on here. When it's not the legal buyers that have the guns, it's the illegal people that are stirring up the trouble with illegal guns. So how is stopping people from getting a legal gun helping the system? They want to make sure law-abiding people are not able to protect themselves when it's time. That's what's going on here. Read it.
But they shall destroy their houses with the sword.
With the sword, with guns, because that's the modern day sword. Read.
And spoil their goods.
And shall spoil their goods. All the stuff you worked for, you thought was yours. Read.
Because of the lack of bread.
People, because of the lack of bread, because food is so high, because people are suffering, they're going to start taking from other people. Are we not living in that time right now? Where you can't go in certain areas, they'll rob you, rob everything on you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need those sneaks, bro. Matter of fact, give me that carjacking. Nice car, huh? You shined it all weekend. Now you walking with no shoes. Walking on a highway with no shoes. They took your shoes and your car. Read.
And for great tribulation.
And for great tribulation, read.
Behold, saith the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth.
The Most High is now calling together all the kings of the earth together for war. Read.
To reverence me.
To reverence him. Read.
Which are from the rising of the sun.
The rising from the sun is far east. Starting with the east. Read.
From the south, from the east, and Libanus, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them.
Now the Most High is stirring up all the kings in the earth to pay the things that was done to God's people. That's why there's war all over the earth right now. And the poor is going to rise through this. Those that follow the Most High in Christ and keep his commandments will make it through this. These are the next leaders being shaped through warfare. This is, I'm telling you, a lot of people are not going to make it, but those that make it through this, they will be untouchable. Read.
Verse 21. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also.
So the things they're doing to the chosen, the Most High is going to put it back on their own head. Yes, we come down on our own, but the nations are not exempt, and the people that are controlling this earth are not exempt from judgment. Judgment is going to come on the powers that rule this earth. Read.
And recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Most High Power, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth.
So the Most High is not going to excuse his people, and he's not going to excuse the governments. He will not excuse the governments that have executed death and destruction against God's people. Someone asked, well, doesn't it say, he that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword? Absolutely, it says, he that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword. That means if you use the sword to kill for your personal substance, if you use the sword to live, like the Idumean powers have done in this earth, if you use the sword to actually come up on other people, then you're going to die by it. But it's not talking about protecting yourself. Christ says to sell your cloak. He that have a garment, sell your garment and get a sword. So if someone come up in your house, you're not living by the sword, you're protecting your house. They come through a window, somebody need to find them on the lawn someplace. Okay, because I'll tell you what, if you don't take care of business right there, they're going to come and they're going to take everything you have. And they may kill you. And everyone in your house. So is that what it should be? No. Listen, you come through the window if you want. Okay, you're gonna wish you picked another window. And see, and that's the spirit you have to be in. You can't serve the Most High dead. Okay, wake up. I don't know what they've been programming people with, but Israel was protecting themselves with the sword since they were a nation. Okay, thou shalt not murder. Murder is different. But if someone is coming up into your place, you can protect yourself. Murder is unjust killing. That's what murder is. Murder is unjust killing. Read on.
Verse 23. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and hath consumed the foundations of the earth, and sinners like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin, and keep not my commandments, saith the Most High. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children from the power, defile not my sanctuary. For the Most High knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. Behold an horrible vision, and appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come, and join battle with them, and shall waste away a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
Okay, I need you to go to hold that, because that's going into the world war. We already covered that a couple of weeks ago. I need you to hold that. I need you to go into the second coming real quick. Start at Matthew 24 and 28.
St. Matthew chapter 24 verse 28.
Go ahead.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together.
Go ahead.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
When it says the tribulation of those days, it's talking about the destruction that's coming into this earth. The end of the tribulation that started in 70 AD when our people was running from the Romans. Read.
Immediately after immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
Go ahead.
And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
When it says all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, all the nations in the earth are going to feel this pain that's coming on. That's what's happening right now. All the nations that were in league with so-called the powers that be the Western world are now being deceived and destroyed. Like the countries, the Middle Easterns, they was complicit as long as they were making that money with the oil and destroying God's people. But now the Most High is coming down on them. But we know what happens when they finally go against Iran. Hold on to your seats because they're about to do it. They're about to go against Iran. You're about to see life change all over the earth. It's about to happen. Read.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven.
We shall see Christ coming. Every eye shall see him when he return. Read.
With power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet.
He should send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. Read.
And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other.
And at that time, Christ is going to begin to gather his people from the four winds of heaven, from all over the earth. Now, I know some people are saying, well, maybe I can make it in America. America is going to be utterly wasted at that time. Read.
Verse 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree, when his branch is yet tender.
Go ahead.
And putteth forth leaves. Ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall not pass away. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth no man.
Read it again.
But of that day and hour knoweth no man.
No man can prophesy the exact day and hour that Christ is returning. So you have these CIA plants that are out there clothed as preachers telling people that Christ is going to come back in May, or he's coming back in what do you say, in October now. These are actually pastors being paid by government so that others can look at it and say, see, the Bible is not true. This guy's a pastor. But they're put out there to bring forth false prophecy. These are Satanists that are within the church. Okay, so that they can actually put out false prophecy so that people can question whether or not the Bible is real. And he'll claim he went into the Bible to figure it out and all that. And then people say, well, he go into the Bible too. Who's to say that what you're saying is correct? So these are Satan plants they have that are talking about the day of the hour when Christ said himself, he don't even know the day of the hour. If he don't know but the Father only, how can we now say when Christ will return? Read.
But of that day and hour knoweth no man.
Knoweth no man, read.
No, not the angels of heaven.
The angels don't know, so how can a man in the world tell you? Read.
But my Father only.
Christ says he don't even know. His Father only know. And that's more proof for brothers and sisters if someone is pulling out a scripture that's claiming that Christ is the Most High. If his Father know only, that means he's the Son. He don't know when he's returning. When the Father tell the Son it's time, then he's going to get on his horse and come to this earth. Him and the heavenly angels, they're going to horse themselves to the earthly realm. So how can a man sit there and say he's been going through the scriptures and he can tell you exactly the time? No. We can show you the time according to prophecy. Read.
Verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
As the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. The days of Noah was like what? Read.
Verse 38. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
Go ahead.
and knew not until the flood came, and took them all away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doeth come.
It says, watch therefore, because you don't know the hour in which he come. Read.
But know this, that if the good man of the house had known and would watch, the thief would come. He would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up.
So if you know exactly when the thief is coming, wouldn't you prepare right before the thief? Christ is coming like a thief in the night. So he's saying if you prepare every day, then you don't have to worry about when he's coming. You're prepared for whenever he comes. Read.
Verse 44. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. Who then is a faithful and wise servant?
Go ahead.
Who is?
Because someone was asking me who's the 10%. And I was going to show the 10% right here. Who's the faithful and wise servant? Read.
Whom his Lord have made ruler over his household.
Go ahead.
To give them meat in due season. Blessed is that servant, whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing.
So he's going to reward the servant who's following him to the end. That's getting things together, that's following the commandments, that's following the Most High. These are they that would make it. Read.
Verse 47. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But if that evil servant shall say in my heart, my Lord delayeth his coming.
So if you got people out there saying, well, Christ is never going to come back. Read.
And shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken.
So now he's going out partying and having a good time and doing all these things that he did before he received the truth. Read.
The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him.
Christ is going to come in a day in which this person have not prepared. He's going to be taken as a thief. Read.
And in an hour that he is not aware of.
Go ahead.
And shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
And that's the judgment of that servant who knew the truth. Who knew the truth but did not change before Christ's return. Alright? So we wanted to bring that forth. Someone asked, last question, 10% alive will make it through the wilderness. How many who die will make it serving the what? What they say there?
Which?
How many will make it serving the Lord that die before Christ returns? There's no, we don't know that number. The Lord said that there was a multitude that no man could number. So we can't give you a number on how many people that will make it that die before Christ returns. We don't. There's no number on that. We suggest that people don't put their personal business out there on a chat. Now, I don't think that's smart to put your personal business out there on a chat. We see a lot of people doing that. That's not a good idea. Let's see here. Now, the 10 virgins don't represent the 10%. The 10 virgins, you had 5 foolish virgins and 5 wise virgins. People that stuck with the truth and kept their candle lit, and you have 5 who just denounced the Most High and didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they wanted to get it in the last moment before it was too late. But it was too late. Hey, shalom, Brother Izzy. Okay, if you want to be in the academy,